Hi, this is Cousin Russ. Uh, I've been playing around with something I've wanted to do for a long time, and it's now incorporated into my normal procedure, and that is the use of burial facts. I have, if I, uh, what I thought about is if I have a burial location, I'd like to have some information about the cemetery. Now, if I look at Find a Grave, I can find a lot of information about the cemetery, or depending on the cemetery and who's maintaining the cemetery profile. Sometimes there's a little information, sometimes there's a lot of information. What I want to do is capture that. Yes, I always can go to the Find a Grave website. Yes, I can go to the Find a Grave app on my smartphone, but I want it in my database. So if I'm working in my data, I'm trying to put information that I may use in the future into my database, so I don't have to look around other places. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch over to Family Tree Maker, and this is the publish workspace because I'm going to work from a report that I generated and then show you how I deal with it. I have a saved report called Burial Fact Notes for Cemeteries. So I've selected it and I'm going to open the report. This is going to generate a report on everybody who has a burial fact. And in the items to include, all I need is the name and the burial location. What's important here for me is the burial fact. I only want the preferred fact. Now, I will many times I will find that I have information about the town or where the person is buried and not the cemetery, or I'll find the cemetery and not the place. But I want the preferred fact to be the one that has the cemetery name in it. So I only want the preferred facts for this report. Now I'll come back later and run it again without the preferred facts to make sure that the preferred facts are there. But let me, so I have selected everybody who has a burial fact. And you can see this first entry, I don't have a cemetery name. The second entry, I do have the cemetery name, and these are the fact notes. And that's what I have put in. Now this one's got an address and phone number, which is good to have. But look at this entry for this cemetery. There's a couple paragraphs on the Find a Grave website. Why not have that information? Or there's a couple, and I'm just going to scroll down here, but there's a couple here that said, oh, here it is. Also known as another cemetery name. So if I had a record that said IOOF Cemetery in Delaware, I may not know that today it's called Oddfellows. So I'm just going to scroll down because I've been working on this and finding the use for the cemetery. There's a nice description. So each person here has the name of a cemetery and where they are. Now this one, there's not much information. That's okay. But it's a start. I know what's on Find a Grave. I don't have to look for the Find a Grave website. Here's one with phone numbers. Cemetery notes and description. It gives me some more information about where that cemetery is located. Oddfellows. I just saw that a few minutes ago, didn't I? So there's a bunch of the information is provided is different based on the cemetery. And I'm just going to scroll down because I want to find the next cemetery that I have not included that information in the notes. And I should be coming up here pretty quickly. And I may have passed it. That's not important because I'll do them later. So there's a cemetery. So I've done pretty good so far. Here's one. I want to do this one. So this person has a burial fact and has a cemetery, but I have no notes for it. So I'm going to double click on the name. I double click on the name. And there's the burial fact that's got the cemetery name, and there's a citation. I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to open up a browser from this is from the index at on Ancestry. So I'm going to go to the website, the Find a Grave website, just by clicking on that link. And I don't like the new interface looks fine, but I want to go to the old interface, because what I'm going to do is pick up the burial fact, or I'm sorry, the cemetery page, and I'm going to highlight and copy that and hit Control C. I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to click OK, go over to Notes, and paste that information here. Now I'm also going to clean it up a little bit by get my mouse to play with me here. Okay. So I have cleaned it up, and what I do is I bold the cemetery name. And now I'm going to highlight that whole piece, the whole notes, and I always have an extra space at the bottom of the text. So I have it on my clipboard. I'm going to click OK. Now I want to bring my browser back up because I'm going to put it on my other screen. So, because what I'm going to do now is go to the Places workspace. Now that place was in Delaware. I'm in Delaware. It was in Newcastle County. So I'm going down to Newcastle County. Oh, if I get to close up the right thing, there we go. Newcastle County and Newcastle and the cemetery. Now, in this case, I only have one person in the cemetery, and that's the burial fact. And I click on Go To, and there's my notes. Now, if there were more people in that cemetery, I would go back to the Places workspace and open up and go to their page and paste that information into their burial fact, so that when I go back to my report, and I think I was on page 12, lower left-hand corner, I will see that I have pasted that information into the burial fact. So let's see, is that it? Yep, there it is. That's the one. So the burial fact notes is there, and it has information on the cemetery. It may be overkill. Maybe people don't like to do that. I have now found it very useful information to have at my fingertips within Family Tree Maker. So let me go back and show you in the people workspace again where that is. There is a burial fact, there's a citation, and there are the notes, and the notes is on this tab. So there's a citation, but I know that I have notes there. And my goal for this is every time there is a burial fact and the name of the cemetery is there, it's going to have a note. In this specific case, I have another record. In fact, I have two other citations that only tells me the town. but this one is the one that tells me the name of the cemetery. Now, if I didn't have the cemetery, then I could go back and manually search for the cemetery. But any time I have a burial fact and the cemetery name, I'm going to have burial notes, and that will be information about the cemetery. And yes, if I have 10 people buried in a cemetery, 10 people are going to have the same notes. If you have any questions, please leave a comment on the blog or in the Google Plus community, and have a great day.